Hello, I want to thank you first for giving me the opportunity to tell my little story. I was born in La Harpe, Kansas, right over the border from Oklahoma. And my father was a farmer. Right after the Depression in 1935 when I was born in a farmhouse that caught fire 4 hours after I was born. My aunt luckily was my grandfather was right behind the house and came over and rescued us and took us into the garage and saved our lives. So we started off on a big bang. My father farmed as a career shopper till 1950 when he was able to buy a farm of his own. He bought an 80-acre farm over by Erie, Kansas, which was northwest of Erie, is where the farm was located. We had hogs, we had cattle, we had everything. And but my mother, she wanted to be a businesswoman and she never did like to farm. So she decided she was going to move to California, and me and my sister, which I have the only brother and sister I have is one sister, and she died last year, was going to go to California with her. So we went to California, went to San Jose, California, where my uncle was a contractor, and we lived with him for a few weeks until my mother acquired a job. And I went to high school in San Jose. I went to James Lick High School, graduated the class in 1954, and I played football, basketball, and baseball. I played 3 sports in high school. After my high school in 1954, I went to San Jose Junior College, majored in machine technology, and I got a 2-year degree in machine technology, and I played basketball and baseball at San Jose City College. I didn't play football. After that, after I graduated from San Jose City College, I went to work for Ford Motor Company as a machinist apprentice. I got my apprenticeship completed and became a journeyman 4 years later. I didn't like the situation at Ford, and so I looked for another job. There was a job opening at FMC Corporation in San Jose in 1960 for a machinist. I went over there and applied it, and I was hired the next day. I went to work there as a machinist, journeyman machinist, and I worked all my way up from being a journeyman's machinist to an assistant supervisor to a supervisor to a general supervisor. I worked there for 32 years at FMC Corporation and as a journeyman machinist and in a management position on top of that. While I was managing at FMC and running my crew, I had 140 men and 5 supervisors that reported to me. And they were bargaining unit employees, not the supervisor, but the manpower. And I always felt like that the manpower was our greatest, most valuable resources. So was my supervisor. We did a lot of good work, which is evident I'll talk to a few minutes later. But anyway, I got an opportunity to join Intermanagement Management Council, and I joined Intermanagement Management Council in 1987, and 86 was in 87 and 88, I was elected president. I was the only president that was ever elected in 30-year history, 2 consecutive years. The International Management Council's objective is to train young managers, young people into management. And the reason how you get to be a professional manager is you have to apply, with your education and your experience. Then you have to take a three-part test in Sacramento, is usually where it's given, on management concepts and applications. After that, you pass examination, you're a certified manager. There's over only 5,000 in the United States today. after you get the certified managers program completed, every 5 years you have to prove you've got 50 hours of education and get recertified. But anyway, and by the way, my company supported me in Intermanagement Council. I went to China and Taiwan two different occasions, 2 weeks at a time, and they're very heavy into management concepts over there, and so I really enjoyed my 2 trips to China, made some valuable friendships that I'll never forget. After I had been in my job for quite a few years, I decided that we needed some new experienced help. Our manpower was rising all the time. So I went back east with my supervisor to try to hire machinists and electricians and numerical technicians, and we couldn't hire any. We could hire them, but they didn't want to come to California because the cost of living different. So we decided to do our own. So we had 15 apprentices working in my department. So when I had all those apprentices working, the machinist union come to me and asked me if I wanted to work in a management capacity for the machinist union. And my company was all for that because we had so many apprentices in the program. So I went to work for the Machinist Union, International Association of Machinists Union, for San Benito and Santa Clara counties. In that 10-year time that I worked for them, I worked in the prisons, training convicts a trade. So when they got out, they could get a job. We hired some of them. And some of them were good, some of them were bad. But I worked in the men's colony in San Luis Obispo. And by the way, the men's colony in my class was Christian Brando, and the boys that stole the bus and hid it in Chowchilla were model prisoners. And they stood on a number every morning and every night, but they were wonderful. Christian Brando was not a very good student. He was a more a la Mara Brando's son, you know. So anyway, but it was a great experience, and I enjoyed that. In 1993, I retired. I was 56 years old, and they were paying a lot of money for you to leave. They were downside the golden handshake, and I wanted to get the money, so I left. And I went back after I left as a consultant. They hired me as a consultant, and I worked for a consultant for about 6 months. I decided I wanted to get out of the Bay Area because it was getting so crowded. So we started coming down in this area looking at houses. One day I saw a house in Clovis, and we fell in love with it, and we bought it. We moved to Clovis in 2000. 2001, I got itchy feet at home, and I decided I wanted a part-time job. So I went and got went to the DMV and got a chauffeur's license, a bus driver's license. And about a week later, ironically, the Wyndham run an ad in the paper. I come over to Wyndham and applied, and Sue Austin hired me the next day. I came to work, and I worked here at the Wyndham for about 12 years. I started the first Wyndham Bus Choir, which was 20 residents, now past deceased now. But me and Christine Oliver are still alive, of course. But and in 2008, I was chosen Employee of the Year here at the Wyndham. So I was also Santa Claus for 10 years too, make all the kids happy. One of the things that I forgot to mention is that in my affiliation with the organization, the certified manager. I was a division manager for the YMCA on their board of directors, raising funds for kids to go to camp and do different things. We raised a lot of money. I was proud of that. During the Loma Prieta earthquake, we had 150 tools, we had machine tools we had to relocate and certify. And I mean by certifying, I mean they had to meet certain dimensions or we couldn't build parts with them for the Bradley fighter vehicle. We put the plant back in operation in 2 weeks, my crew did, which was stated by the president of the company, a remarkable feat. My men did it, mind you, not me. That's a picture of the Bradley fighting vehicle on the back here, and that was used exclusively in Desert Storm. That's an amphibious vehicle. It goes 40 miles an hour in the water and 40 miles an hour on the ground. It cost $1 million a copy. And they used it primarily in Desert Storm, although there is still Bradleys. FM Sword Corporation in San Jose was just a small drop in the bucket to the military division, which I was in. They're one of the biggest corporations in the world. They're in everything. And they were a great company to work for. I had good benefits and everything else. And I enjoyed my time here at the Wyndham. I had a great time with the residents, and it was a wonderful experience that I'll never forget or regret. My family was a wonderful family. I met my wife Claudia in 1954 when I was a senior in high school. She was in another high school. She went to Campbell High School, which was in the same area. We went together, and I married Claudia in 1951 after I got out of high school. So, not 1955, when I got out of high school, we got married. And we were married for 25 years, and Claudia passed away 2 years ago of cancer. I have 4 sons. I had 4 sons. One of them died last year of complications from sugar diabetes. He was 57 years old. I have 3 other sons, Donald, who graduated from San Diego State, and another son, Blaine, who's a truck driver, and my youngest son, George Jr., who graduated from Southern Methodist University in Georgia Tech School of Law, and is now works for Cox Enterprises in Atlanta, Georgia. They own all these television stations and everything else. And he's the chief financial officer for them, and he's 50 years old, and there's a rumor that he has a possibility of getting a CEO job next year or the year after that. He hasn't got it yet, but there's word that he's handling all their money now, and I guess the theory is if you handle all their money, you'd be able to handle their business too. So they all live, 2 of my sons live in Mountain View, and the youngest one lives in Atlanta, Georgia, of course, where he's employed.
What has been your favorite place to live?
My favorite place to live, of course, was on the farm. I loved the farm. I didn't want to leave, but I had to. And like I say, my mother wanted to go to California. And by the way, my mother and father were married for 50 years, but they lived apart. So, but I always went back every year. I had a lot of relatives back there. I used to go visit. All of them now deceased. All of them. I don't have a relative left back there. I'm 84 years old. I've outlived them all.
So you mentioned that you played sports and you coached sports. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. I played sports in high school, 3 sports. I was a quarterback in football, and I played basketball. I was a guard at 6'2". I was the shortest man on the starting 5, and I played baseball, and I had a rifle shot arm. I could throw real hard. I went on to City College and played football there. I played basketball and baseball. In 1951, Bob Fontaine, who's a scout for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who worked for the Padre organization, and later on the Giants front office, offered me a minor league contract for $400 a month. I was married and had a child, and I said no and went to work for Ford Motor Company. But I was, all my life, my dad was a semi-pro pitcher in his young days. He taught me how to throw the curveball. He taught me how to throw the changeup, how to throw the fastball. But I found out one thing through and I had kids teams and everything else. Well, one thing that athletics always taught me, if you're going to be a baseball player, if you're not going to be a pitcher, you better have fast legs, a strong arm, and you better be big. And I had kids in that caliber that made it big. And they worked hard at it. That's how they got there. And I spent 10 years at FMC coaching their softball team and basketball teams, and playing myself in the beginning. But I got too old to play, so I ended up coaching them. And we won many championships. Also, all my life, I was a pool player. I was very proficient in 8-ball, snooker, and three ball cushion play. I'm a very good player. I played in Reno, Sacramento. I played in tournaments all over, and I've had teams. I coached those teams too. But I have some trophies upstairs. One time I had over 70 trophies for athletic teams that won championships and stuff. But if I ever get on my feet again, if they want to start a pool league here, I'd love to help them, because I can play the game of pool. I started playing when I was a kid in Kansas. That's all there was to do on Saturday, was play pool and go to the movies. And the last thing I want to say is I want to commend the Wyndham and its employees and the residents also for what a wonderful battle they put up against the threat of the coronavirus. They're doing a great job. Keep it up. Thank you.